Dr. Phil, a bullying experiment caught on video.
When two girls start bullying another girl, who comes to her aid and who joins the bullies?
What makes good people do bad things?
You're willing to bash someone else just so that you can go further?
Yeah, I'm willing to bash her.
Plus, a former gang member.
My life is in danger just for being here.
Who led a double life.
You would go to church in the morning and go rob somebody at gunpoint in the afternoon. This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
It matters to you. That's what I want to talk about. You ready in the booth? Let's do it. Go, Dr. Phil. We recently did a show about something called the Lucifer effect, how good people turn evil under certain circumstances. And I have been asking the questions, do you really wonder if you could be that kind of person? Are you a good person that in a certain circumstance, certain situation, with certain pressures and influences, you could do something really, really wrong? Now, what can cause an otherwise decent person to perform even the most horrific of acts? Well, we did quite a few experiments during that show with such fascinating results, we decided to do more. Here's what happened on the last show. We are doing some of the most interesting experiments you have ever seen. Now, the authority figure you're looking at is actually an actor. We're going to send him out to do a little experiment with our audience while they're waiting to be seated for the show.
Okay. Can I have you, and you sit over here, please? Then can I have you, and you sit over here, please? I'd like you two to take off your left shoe and hold it out and shake it like that. Can you take that wristwatch off and put it on that one? Take that wristwatch off, put it on that one. Did you shake your shoes out? Good, good. Okay, can you put that back on, please? Blondes, all blondes, move to the back of the room, please. You'll be going inside the studio very shortly, all right? Thank you.
You're listening to this guy. He's just an actor. What sold it? The hat? Okay, will you now do what I tell you to do? Hold the hat.
In this demonstration, we want to see whether ordinary people blindly obey someone who seems like an authority when he asks them to do something potentially dangerous. A pretend security guard is going to ask one of the audience members to taser the perpetrator if he moves. Will he do it? Will he not?
You just stay right here. Just stay right here. Sir, can you come here? Just watch this guy just for a second. Just broke into a freaking soundstage. If he moves, I want you to tase him. Tase him. Okay? Okay. Just stay right there. I'll get my superior. Just press this. All right? It's not going to hurt him. It's just going to take him down a little bit. Watch him. Watch him. He's going. I'm going. Dude, no.
You're not so much on this halt, stand still stuff or anything. No. Freeze, whatever. He flinched and you... Yeah. And then when he was down, you thought you'd just give him one for good measure?
I want to make sure he didn't get up, right?
What's your job?
I'm a facilitator director at our church.
Ma'am, why don't you do anything? Stay right there. Ma'am, do anything, man. All you got to do, watch this guy.
No, I'm not.
All you got to do is like that.
Like
it's not going to hurt him. It's just going to knock him out. Trust me, you're going to be A-okay.
No, I'm not okay.
Just hold this. Just hold this. I just got to get my supervisor.
I know when this happens on TV. No, because he's going to run away when you give me that.
No, he's not. No, because if he does, we have another cop coming on the way. Don't worry. We have another cop coming on the way.
I'm not going to press the button if he runs. I'm not. He can just run away.
No.
Run, go away, hurry, run away.
It's safe. Don't let him go. Don't let him go. Don't let him go.
Let him go.
Dude, you want me to...
I'm just going to let him go.
No, don't. Please.
Run away.
I gotta go. No, please. You can do it. You can do it. Officer.
Run away, bad guy, because I'm not going to press this button.
So you're not only not going to push the button, you're telling him, run away so I'm out of the conflict.
And I also was afraid, what if he robs me if he's a bad guy, you know?
What you don't know, and I think this is really interesting, is Jason and Cheryl are actually husband and wife. Back in 1971, Dr. Zimbardo placed newspaper ads for a mock prison experience at Stanford University.
They signed up for a study on prison life. The prisoners lived 24/7 in cells. Guards worked 8-hour shifts. Unfortunately, we created too realistic a prison too soon.
And I began to treat them as coldly as possible, as harshly as possible.
The guards got so totally into their role that after the second day, the idea that it's an experiment vanished.
I don't know how to explain it. All up inside! Out! Out now!
Within 36 hours, they are cruelly punishing 9 people, and they know it's an experiment.
It's only when you play a certain role in a situation where the system puts pressure on you to use that role differently. I was shocked when we saw the release of a dozen pictures of American soldiers humiliating, torturing prisoners in Iraq, in a prison called Abu Ghraib. I wasn't surprised because I had seen similar pictures in the Stanford prison experiment. The lawyer for one of the guards, Staff Sergeant Chip Frederick, contacted me. This is a super American kid. My defense of Chip Frederick was, till the moment he stepped into that basement in Abu Ghraib, he's ideal. And in a very short time he's there, he's now doing these terrible things. Here's a classic instance of the power of the situation.
What you're saying here is that any one of us put in that situation, under those circumstances and dynamics, could have been subject to doing exactly what these guards did.
I would say almost anyone.
If you think, yeah, I can see how I could get sucked into that, stand up. Wow.
What's really critical is never to be in the out-group, never to be rejected.
Dr. Philip Zimbardo is with us again. He is a world-famous author of The Lucifer Effect, Understanding How People Turn Evil. Now, to Dr. Phil's show, we have an advisory board, and it's made up of psychologists, sociologists, physicians. We even have a nun on our advisory board that's a psychologist. And they are able to advise me on all the topics that we do. So if I'm doing something, I can send it out to this advisory board. They give me information on new research, their experiences whatsoever. And Dr. Zimbardo, I'm proud to say, is a member of that advisory board. He is also Professor Emeritus at Stanford University, and he's conducted some of, if not the most, famous experiments in the history of psychology. So please welcome Dr. Philip Zimbardo. All right, keep a seat, keep a seat. You've been at this a while.
Yeah, I've been creating evil for a long time.
Now, I hate to say this, but I went to school, I started college back in the late 60s, and I've had a number of your textbooks over the years. And I mean, so that was
Since
like
you were really little.
40 years ago. So you've been writing textbooks for a long time as well.
Yeah, I guess. I've been teaching psychology for about more than 50 years. I've been writing introductory textbooks, Psychology in Life and Core Concepts, for about 40 years.
Yeah. So have a little empathy for me. I'm getting my paper graded here by the guy. I mean, this is the guy. And we'll be right back.
Would you obey this man? He's Charlie, our actor, dressed to look like he's in charge.
Could I ask you to go the other side? Thanks. That's great. Oh, and just be on the apple, which would be great. Give it a good old jump. 2-footed, probably best. Listen for me, please, sir.
Are we that vulnerable to a uniform? We've been talking about obeying authority, and this is a universal thing. This just doesn't happen in America.
No. The important thing about what we're trying to understand is how, in any situation, can an ordinary person, a good person, everybody says this is a good person, can go wrong, can step across that line between good and evil in what seems like ordinary circumstances. Some authority says, do this because I'm an authority. Or the group says, hey, we're all doing this. It's the right thing to do. Or you're dressed in a certain way. You're in a costume. And so that's what we're looking at, how ordinary people's behavior can be subtly shifted to end up doing really bad things in situations for them that seem not very
At the
unique.
time, it seemed like a reasonable idea. Now, we did some experiments in the last show that we had with Dr. Zimbardo. Take a look at how people in the United Kingdom reacted to a man in uniform.
Would you obey this man? He's Charlie, our actor, dressed to look like he's in charge. though he's in charge of nothing except a bogus uniform. We've brought him to Edmonton in North London, to the shopping centre, to find out exactly how obedient people are.
Excuse me, madam, sorry, could I just stop you? You're about to pass between me and the red bench. Could I just ask you to go the other side? Thanks. That's great. Oh, and just be on the apple, it'd be great. Oh, look. Thanks very much, madam. These slabs, I couldn't just ask you to knock it down for me. You're probably heavier than I am. Can you give me a good old jump? Yeah, actually, let me move that way. Can you just jump, please? Yeah, no, two-footed probably, best. I couldn't just ask you to litter, could I? To what, sir? To litter.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you got anything you could possibly quickly litter? Do you use that? It's probably all right. Okay. Yeah, could you just litter for me, please, sir? Just twice would be great. Kick it away, otherwise it won't. That's it. Give it a kick. Couldn't ask you just to pop that in your other hand, could I? Thanks, that's excellent. Could I ask you to lead with your left? Yes? And just slowly, really, basically.
It's a simple experiment, but amazingly, it works. Out of uniform, though, it's a different story.
Oh, sir, could I just ask you to switch bags with your hands? Just... You couldn't just go and just touch that brick? No?
But with the uniform, 70% of people follow Charlie's bizarre instructions to the letter.
Oh, fine. Give it one more, actually, because the wind's a bit weak. That's it. You want my dental records here? That's proof enough that this is quality sweet cloth. Bit harder, please, sir.
He's in uniform.
Stop the bag.
So they obey.
All right, now, come on, are we that vulnerable to a uniform?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, he's an actor, and our actor here at Dr. Phil, he looked formidable. This guy just looks like some kid, and you just put him in that uniform with a little cap on, and he gives you an order, and you want to do the right thing. The problem is, you think you're doing the right thing, even because you switch off your critical thinking. That's really the key. And he says, open your bag. I want to see what you have. Take that out. It's a piece of corn. And he starts eating your corn. And he says, now you have a dental record that is quality corn. Oh, go away. And people don't say, hey, what did you just do? I mean,
But see, here's what bothers me about this, because I worry about this with predators. And we've done shows here on stranger danger before. Because think about it. What do we tell our children? We tell our children that you respect adults, you obey adults. Right. And if somebody presents themselves to your child as an authority figure, so I'm a friend of your mother's, I'm a teacher here, I work at this store or at this mall, God forbid they showed up with some kind of uniform on, we've taught our children to follow that authority and not question that. So are we not setting them up to be prey if a predator gets them isolated and takes an authoritarian role with them to do something?
Yeah, I mean, people who are predators, and there are bad people. I mean, essentially what we're saying is, how do good people turn bad? We know there are people who are bad, who are predators. The problem is we have to train our children to be discriminative. That is to say, not all authority is wonderful. I mean, there are abusing teachers, priests, we know, etc. So teach kids, how do you discriminate between just authorities who you respect and unjust authorities who you have to revolt against?
Yeah, but exactly, how do they know that? And Robin and I always told our boys when they were growing up, if it doesn't feel right, you say no. You yell, you scream, you raise all kinds of noise, and if you're wrong, you will not get in trouble. If it's really a teacher who's trying to get you out of harm's way and you start yelling and screaming and we wind up in the principal's office, it's okay. We'd rather you be wrong and safe than to try to do the right thing and get in harm's way. I mean, I worry about this. I see that. That's crazy.
Yeah, but see, again, in this situation, you stop and say, why? I mean, critical thinking simply says, if you're uncertain, you say, why? Why should I do this? Why should I walk there? And you have to make people give you good reasons. And if not, you say, I'm not going to do it. Give me a good reason why I should. Authorities who are reasonable should tell you.
Give you answers. If
they can't give you an answer, then you rebel. You say, no way, I'm not going to do this. And then I'm going to turn them in.
Well, civilians in the UK also reacted similarly to the taser experiment. Take a look.
Charlie appears to be guarding this man. In fact, he's another actor. The gadget in his hand is homemade and harmless. But that's not what he tells this passerby.
I've got to go and get... I've not got my walkie-talkie. I've got to go and get help. Can I just hand you this? Now, don't... It's just precautionary, right? Now, that's... No, it's perfectly safe. If you touch it on him, it'll give him one hell of a shock. It's 40,000 volts. It'll disarm him. Beyond that, it'll... But, now, if he moves...
I use this.
If he moves, you use that, right?
I won't get in trouble.
No, you won't get in trouble. You've got my word. Don't move.
Look, he's not around anymore, all right? So I'm just going to make a move, all right?
No, don't.
Look, honestly.
Half the people stopped by Charlie reacted the same way.
5 out of 10.
5 out of 10 were willing to put 40,000 volts into a stranger.
Right.
Because the guy with the hat said to.
Yeah. And it doesn't make sense. He says, I'm going to headquarters. You don't say, what did he do? I mean, again, the woman in our experiment here wanted to know, did he do a bad thing? He said, you know, you don't even know what he did. And you're willing to shock him and kill him, maybe.
Okay, so you must really be concerned about what people are willing to do with just a little bit of influence in the wrong direction.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, human nature is we need to be concerned.
We're pliable. I mean, I start off with saying we are good. Most people are good most of the time. But we are subject to all these pressures all around us. You know, if somebody's dressed in a certain way, in the past, we respect them and it pays off. Now somebody is dressed in the way of an authority, of a soldier, of a policeman, of a fireman. They tell us to do something that doesn't make sense, and we don't say, why do you want me to do it? We just do it. So what we're saying is, you got to be critical. You have to say, why should I do it? You know, who are you? You got to look for it. You know, just because you got a blue suit on, I want to see the identification. You're always allowed to ask any authority, I'd like to see your ID. And if they don't have an ID, time out. You
well,
don't
of course, with Photoshop and stuff today, they flip out any kind of ID that you want. But I mean, and the concern to me is, you know, parents who say, I'm afraid my kids are going to get with a bad crowd, and that bad crowd's going to influence them. And you're saying they need to be concerned about that.
Because there are good crowds who do bad things.
Next, we did our own experiment to see how easily teen girls will follow the leader just to fit in. We'll be right back.
I feel like right now you could fit in with us. Her, on the other hand, I don't feel like she fits in.
Come on, you guys. So you're saying that you're willing to bash someone else just so that you can go further?
Yeah, I'm willing to bash her because she's not trendy.
Look what happened when we took regular teen girls and put them in a competitive situation where they thought they were fighting for a spot on a TV panel of hip, cool teens.
In this demonstration, we're putting the spotlight on bullying. So you're going to be a bully. You're going to be a bully. And you're the victim. What's going to happen is 3 other unsuspecting young women are going to join your group, and you're going to start bullying her. We want to know, do they come to her aid, or do they join in with the bullies?
So we need to find out who's trendy, right?
I wouldn't consider her trendy.
It's just, I mean, like, you have, like,
well, I don't
cute,
feel like we should be bashing her.
And, like,
well, they ask for trendy people, and I don't feel like you're trendy. Like, I mean, you don't
just because.
Why? You don't really have on makeup. You don't have on any jewelry.
I think when you think trendy, you think like magazine cover. I just wouldn't see like that outfit on a magazine.
We're going too far. So you're saying that you're willing to bash someone else just so that you can go further?
Yeah, I'm willing to bash her because she's not trendy and that's what they want. You really don't have to cry about it. Like, it's not necessary. We're just saying, like, you're not fashionable.
That's
come out really rude, you guys.
It is. And I told you that in the beginning, but I think that you just are the type of person that you'll just keep going, and that's...
Can I give you a hug? Oh my god, this is so not what we...
Yeah, because honestly, that's not what she told us to do. She told us to discuss it, and you pointed out one person.
Well, that's because everybody else...
When you could have said something about everybody that you didn't like instead of pointing out one person.
No, because everybody else in here is trendy.
So y'all just want to vote now?
Yeah, let's just go ahead and vote.
Raise your hand. Jackie out.
Does everyone agree with that?
I agree.
Okay, cool.
We can be friends.
with us. Her, on the other hand, I don't feel like she fits in. Like, I don't feel like she fits with trendy. I don't.
But this is not my daily attire. I wear, like, a t-shirt with, like, I don't even know, like a superhero on it, and then jeans every day.
Well, I mean, you don't have to be in the group either. What do you think we should do? I don't think she should be in our group, but that's just me.
I agree. I don't agree. I don't. Oh, come on, you guys. I don't want to be hip and trendy if this is what hip and trendy is. Hip and trendy is just being yourself.
I think we need to make a decision.
I'm in. I'm out.
I'm in. They said 3 against 2.
Okay. What do you see going on here?
Yeah. And one of the concerns we have in bullying, we all know, I mean, everybody has experience in middle school and high school, some kid or kids making some other kid's life miserable. And usually we don't do anything. We look the other way, and that's worse. That's the evil of inaction. But often we join in because we join in with the bully, not only because they're power, but we don't want to be bullied. And often all you have to do is encounter the bully and say, why are you doing this? You know, and nobody does it. So what we wanted to do is this little demonstration to see where when 2 girls start bullying another girl, who comes to her aid and who joins the bullies. And what we saw was both of these. We saw some girls who just, you know, said, I'm really sorry, give her a hug after she cries, and then say, but vote her out.
Even though it was a role play, did you get the sense that this victim, the girl playing the victim, seemed like she was kind of impacted by some of this?
I think, she was role-playing, but she was crying because people saying, you're out, you're no good. The other thing that happened, we didn't see it here, is of the 6 girls who are not actresses, regular participants, each of them had said that when they were in school, they were bullied. 3 of them started crying when they started saying, I was different, you know, nobody liked me. One of the women said, you know, I never could go to the lunchroom. I used to go to the toilet or go to the nurse's office instead of going to lunch because I knew kids were going to make fun of me. So here's so half of the girls we picked, ordinary girls, said their bullying experience was so terrible that now when they think about it, they go into tears.
Right. Well, next we're going to talk to 2 of the girls in our teen experiment who had a strong reaction to the idea of bullying a victim.
People in today's society judge so much just because of the clothes that you wear. But I feel like clothes really shouldn't define a person.
Now, Deanna, you stood up for the victim, but in the end, you did vote her off.
I can't always be everything for everybody. Right now, I have to think about me, and if this is an opportunity, I have to look out for myself.
So much drama.
We are in crisis mode here.
So many emotions.
I don't know what's real anymore.
Get ready for an unforgettable February on Dr. Phil.
You're going to meet families who have some shocking revelations.
A marriage in crisis.
There's this controlling, obsessed trust issue that he has.
Are you out of control with your jealousy?
I don't want to do this anymore.
A daughter in trouble.
Have you threatened to kill your father?
Yeah. My dad hits me brutally.
It was getting to where I was going to do something that I would regret.
You already have.
A family in turmoil.
I believe my granddaughter was molested by her father.
You have no facts. You're nothing but a liar. I'm not going to allow her to take him away from my kids.
Real people.
I'm not trying to say you're an evil person, but you are a sick person.
Real stories.
You trade nude pictures with women online, and you are offended that your wife won't be intimate with you.
Plus, updates on Dr. Phil's most popular guests.
John Clark's 3 children were abducted by their mother.
I've been waiting 15 and a half years to have a glimpse of my kids.
The girls are doing good at home.
Did she yell at you, scream at you, and physically attack you?
She did.
That's what you call the girls are doing pretty good.
And on the Dr. Phil Housewives.
In this envelope is the pictures of the hoe that my husband slept with.
Oh, God.
Get Real Tuesdays are about to get
ambulance right now.
Very real. Plus, the Dr. Phil family returns.
I'm told the baby is having withdrawal from Oxycontin. Were you taking drugs during the pregnancy?
The most remarkable guests.
You're saying out loud what a lot of women say privately.
The most memorable stories.
You don't want to miss any of the great shows. That, I guarantee you will never forget.
Unforgettable February on Dr. Phil.
conducted an experiment for us with teen girls to see if they would follow the lead of two bullies picking on one victim. So we had 3 actresses here. 2 of them were going to bully the third one. So the bullying was all structured ahead of time. Now, Deanna and Mary both had strong reactions to the experiment. Mary, what was your reaction? What was your, because you had a strong and verbal response.
You know, I feel like the girls were really power hungry. All they wanted to do was be on the show for being hip and trendy, which I don't really understand where hip and trendy comes from. Who decides what is hip and what is trendy? And so that kind of got me really worked up because people in today's society judge so much just because of the clothes that you wear. But I feel like clothes really shouldn't define a person.
So you took yourself out.
Yeah.
You just said, I'm out. Don't even consider me, I'm out.
Yes.
All right, because you just said, I don't want to be, if this is what it is, that's out. Now, Deanna, you stood up for the victim.
I did.
But in the end, you did vote her off.
I did. I felt like under the time that they gave us, they told us that we only had about 5 minutes. I think naturally I have a defending personality, but I feel like at that moment we wanted fame so bad, and I was willing to do it just to vote her off just because. But I feel like what I learned out of this experience was people want to be famous without success first. And yesterday, we did nothing to show that we really wanted it. All we did was we said what we had, what we wore, who we were, but we didn't even let Jackie, who the actor was, we didn't even let her speak. Right. So I feel like we never gave her a fair opportunity. I feel like if I was to win, I still feel like after this is over, I'm going to make sure I give her a chance because I voted under pressure. Not really what I wanted to do, but I still feel like I defended her enough.
But you felt the pressure.
I did, because they only gave us 5 minutes, and I feel like, okay, well, I can't always be everything for everybody. Right now I have to think about me, and if this is an opportunity, I have to look out for myself right now, which when it was over, I cried because I felt like, wow, I became someone who I really not am.
And you were bullied in high school, right?
I wouldn't say bullied, I would say...
Rejected.
Kind of. Most of my friends were older. When I was in the 9th grade, most of all of my cousins and my friends were sophomores and juniors. So when they graduated and I was a sophomore, I had to kind of fit in where I could. I had to find friends, and some friends, because I wasn't speaking to them when I was in the 9th grade, and my friends and my family were older, they didn't really accept me, so I had to kind of make my own group, which I didn't want to, but I had to because I was not accepted. I was not I would say trendy, but I wasn't the average girl. I wasn't afraid to talk about sports. I wasn't afraid to wear my hair in an afro. I wasn't afraid to be me, which wasn't always acceptable.
Well, this little microcosm here is what your kids are dealing with every day, because they're trying to find the group to fit into, whether it's the cool kids or the sports or the whatever it is, or the druggies, whatever. And that's why it's so important for you to help them feel special about who they are, because if they feel special, they have that self-worth, that self-esteem, they're not going to give their power away to anybody, let alone some kids that are trying to manipulate them. All right, go to drphil.com right now to see if you are vulnerable to negative social influences. Now, you're going to answer a series of questions to find out if you are at risk. And you can answer these for yourself. You can answer them for your kids as well. And then you let them answer them, see if they match the insights. Now, next, we're going to talk about how people who have done bad things can turn their lives around. We'll be right back.
I joined the gang when I was 16. I was involved in drive-bys. I've robbed people. I've done home invasions.
You go to church in the morning and go rob somebody at gunpoint in the afternoon.
Pretty much. It actually was a very hard decision for me to come here today because my life is in danger just for being here.
What's remarkable about history is ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Rosa Parks passed away, and I remember sitting on this stage with world leaders and thinking we were all paying homage to a seamstress who had transformed the country and helped transform the world. We never know sort of how our actions are going to ripple over time. We may surprise ourselves with the amount of influence that in fact we have just by standing up or speaking up.
Well, that was President Obama talking about how ordinary people can become heroes. Now, Dr. Zimbardo says bad people can also heroically turn their lives around. Now, one former gang member knows this all too well. Take a look.
My name is Chris, and I joined the gang when I was 16. I joined because I wanted to be respected. As a gang member, I started dealing drugs. You name it, I had it. From then, I graduated to selling weapons, firearms, automatics, whatever you wanted, I could get it. I even sold it to kids. I was involved in drive-bys, stolen cars. I've been involved in stabbings. I've been cut on my legs. I've been shot at on 5 different occasions, but I've never been hit. I've robbed people. I've done home invasions. I went to jail twice. By the time I was 21, I'd been to 18 funerals. All of my friends who had been involved in the gang. It wasn't worth it, but that's how it was.
16, you got involved in this.
Yeah.
What was your motive at the time?
Honestly, the reason I joined, I was 16. I was always small. I used to get picked on a lot. You know, I had braces, glasses. I was considered a nerd. I was in Boy Scouts, ROTC. I was in the school orchestra, stuff like that. And I used to get...
That made you on the outs?
Yeah, that wasn't really accepted
wasn't cool.
at that age in high school. You know, that's not really the cool thing to do. And the reason I joined, you know, I got picked on and I needed protection. That's how I felt.
So the gang gave you protection first?
Right. I saw it as money, power, respect. You know, I wanted the cars.
Money, power, respect.
Yeah.
Dynamite
So
Trio.
how much money are we talking about? At any given time, how much money would you have?
Well, when I joined the gang, I started off, you know, I wanted to rise to the top, basically. So anything they wanted, I did. I was always down. So I started as a drug dealer. You know, I would sell drugs. Started off with marijuana.
Then you moved on to cocaine, heroin?
The way I can put it is I know what 500,000 cash feels like.
500,000
yeah.
in your hand?
Even at that young age, in a really poverty-stricken area, that kind of money is flowing. What made you, because that is very seductive, you know, the money, the power, the acceptance, all of that. What was it that lured you out of that?
Well, the thing is, my parents, they never even knew I was in a gang until I was in there actively for at least 3 years before they even know I had a tattoo. And I managed to hide it. I was kind of living a double life because I'm from Los Angeles. I was born, that's where I was, you know, doing my thing, but that's not where I lived. And I was like going to school, doing all this stuff. You know, I ended up graduating with a 3.8. You know, I did really well in school, and I always knew, you know, I went to church and all that.
While you were doing all this, you're still going to church?
Yeah, I was.
You're going to school?
I was doing the right thing, and then the weekend.
And the wrong thing?
I would be with the bad influence. Even after church, an hour after church, I'd be up in L.A., you know. So,
So you go to church in the morning and go rob somebody at gunpoint in the afternoon?
And sell drugs to kids in the evening?
Pretty much.
Why are you not doing this anymore?
The thing that really got to me, I mean, I've been to jail a couple times now. You know, the first time I went to jail, which I don't discuss why I went to jail. The only thing I can say is I had 8 charges against me.
8?
My bail was $247,000, and I was facing 4 years prison time. That's the first time that I picked up the Bible and started reading, and, you know, was kind of a turning point for me. But then that time I got out, that time I was in jail for a month. And when I got out, I did well for a few months, and then I started getting back with the same people. It was nothing. I would talk about changing to my parents. You know, I would see my parents. They'd come visit me. You know, the other thing that really got to me was seeing my mom, you know, not being able to touch her on the other side of the glass. And that really gets me emotional when I see my mom cry. Like, I just, no matter how hard I try, I always break down. And, but like I said, I got out and I didn't change anything, really. The main thing was the peer pressure of the people I was with.
You got seduced right back in?
Yes, because I said I wanted to change, but when I got out, I didn't change the people, places, things, you know. So it was so easy for me to the peer pressure just got me right back in.
But now you have. You're not doing that at all anymore.
No, not at all.
What was the transformation, finally, from being a gang member, a gangbanger? I mean, he's gone further than just quitting the gang. You help kids to get out of gangs or prevent them from going in.
Yeah, so now, you know, the first time, like I said, I got out, I kind of did the same thing, and then I turned to alcohol, really. You know, I became an alcoholic. As a matter of fact, my nickname in the gang was Alcoholic. I've had my first taste of alcohol at a very young age, and, you know, I have it tattooed across my back. It says alcoholic.
Really?
You know, that's what I was known for. I was drinking a bottle of tequila straight in the night, you know, and
Every
I was
night?
urinating blood, and I didn't care. And so I was destroying my body. After I got out of the gang, my drinking increased. For me, it was like numbing the pain. You know, I started having remorse for things I've destroyed families, pretty much. And the drinking just numbed all that. And a lot of people don't understand alcoholics, but for me, that's the only thing I had at the point. And then the second time I went to jail, which is, you know, I was already out of the gang. The first time I got out of jail, I dropped out of the gang. And it actually was a very hard decision for me to come here today because my life is in danger just for being here. You know, I'm actually green-lighted, which is pretty much means I'm a dropout. I left them. I got my gang tattoo lasered off out of my own pocket. And so I'm very careful of what I do. You know, for a while I was sleeping with a gun under my pillow. I was very paranoid. Still, today I can't go in public. I look over my shoulder and, you know, be worried about retaliation. But
why are you willing to come here and expose yourself?
The way I see it is, you know, somebody has to stand up because gangs are always going to be around. That's the way I feel. The youth, they look up to the younger people. The foundation I work with now in San Diego, the TKF Foundation, I go do like motivational speeches throughout San Diego County from 6th through 12th grade. And that's pretty much if I just help one person, you know, that's what keeps me doing it, because when I was that age, people had come to my school and talked about things. But at that age, you don't want to hear someone that's the same age as your parents telling you what to do. You want to rebel. And I feel like being so young still, to have gone through that change.
Well, and you tried to help your friend get out of the gang, and he was killed, right?
Yeah, similar situation to me. You know, I had a friend that was also in the gang, someone who I was actually close to in the gang. You know, he tried to get out in this past February. He had been talking about it, but he never changed who he was with and all that. So he was still in LA doing the same things, trying to ease his way out. But, you know, I was telling him how life is, how much better it could be and all that. And he was shot in the back of the head. You know, he had the gang tattoo on the back of his head, and, you know, that really got to me. The thing that really disappointed me, you know, at first, of course, I'm gonna have the anger, but I can't react the way I would have prior to my change.
Revenge.
Right.
We'll be right back. We talked about how good people can do bad things, but then you can also choose a completely different path. And Dr. Zimbardo has created the Heroic Imagination Project with a goal to teach people that anyone can become an everyday hero. And it is, you say that heroism is the ultimate antidote to evil.
Yeah. What we're trying to do with the Heroic Imagination Project is make people aware that anyone can be a hero. Heroes are ordinary people. It's the heroic act that's extraordinary. And so essentially we want to teach young people how to be wise and effective heroes. So we have a website. We're have out, where we actually teach you how to resist the negative influences, how to inspire to be a hero like people like you, your age, your background, and then how can we teach you to be wise and effective as a hero.
So define hero for us.
A hero is somebody who puts his best self or her best self forward in service to humanity, helping somebody in need, aware of the potential cost or risk to your life. So with him, it's a potential risk to his life. But if you're a whistleblower, you can get fired, you can lose your career. And you do it without expectation of a gain. And so heroes really are special. What they do is special and unique. And the concept of hero in our culture really has been watered down. A celebrity's a hero, an athlete's a hero. Say, no. In order to be a hero, you have to do something for someone else. You have to make somebody else's life better by your giving service to them. It's more than altruism. It's altruism with action. With action.
Yeah. Well, you can get more information on heroicimagination.org, and we're going to have a link at drphil.com. So you can go there, click on it straight away. And you can go to drphil.com right now and find out if you are on the path to becoming an everyday hero. This is a great conversation starter with your kids. You can answer a series of questions to find out if you're on your way or already are behaving like an everyday hero. And to sit down with your kids and talk about this, how they answer these questions, it's a great way to get a dialogue started. We'll be right back. I want to thank all of my guests today, and a special thanks to Dr. Philip Zimbardo, author of The Lucifer Effect, Understanding How Good People Turn Evil. And as I said, this is a book that you want to read. Go to drphil.com. We really want to hear what you think about all of this, and we're going to have details on his Heroic Imagination project at drphil.com. It is a great thing to do with your kids and for yourself as well. Now, if you want to send me your comments, you can email me at drphil.com, or you can visit my blog at blog.drphil.com, or you can send me a tweet via Twitter. Thanks for being here. So long. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, guys.